Joining us now to talk about this and other issues is Minnesota Senator Al Franken. Senator, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, sir, what do you have to say about the president's reaction, these tweets that this is justification for having his travel ban put into place?
Well, I think we should see who the perpetrators of this were. I think in Manchester that was someone who was from England. You know, when we bring refugees in from places like Syria, the vetting, people don't realize how long that takes. It takes sometimes 2.5 years. And those people are very, very vetted. The ban has been overturned by the courts for good reason. And I also think that what that kind of thing does, which is basically, we're not supposed to say by religion or nationality you can't come to the United States. And I think when you do that, it creates more hostility from Muslims and it feeds their propaganda. And I notice the Prime Minister is really talking a lot about that propaganda. But right now, you know, Great Britain is one of our closest and oldest allies. Right now, our hearts should be going out to the victims and to their families and to people that are fighting for their life.
Let me ask you this, though. The president's saying that we need to start getting serious about terrorism. Obviously, devastation in the UK, 3 attacks in 3 months. Do you feel that
we are very serious about terrorism? We are in this country. Believe me, the FBI, our law enforcement, Homeland Security, we're extremely serious about it. One thing he said that doesn't make sense to me, he said that he criticized the mayor of London because it's hard to get a gun there. If those people had been using AR-15s instead of knives, we would see a lot more carnage.
All right. Let me ask you this. Theresa May, the Prime Minister, said this morning that she would like to see some kind of international agreement amongst all nations to have some kind of regulation of the Internet, which she says is a conduit and a safe haven for terrorists to make their plots. What do you think about that? You are obviously the ranking member on the Technology and Privacy and the Law Committee, Subcommittee of the Judiciary. What are your thoughts?
I think she's right. We can't allow the Internet to be a safe haven for terrorist propaganda. And that said, we have to be able to take down those kinds of sites. You know,
but how do you do that, Senator, by still protecting privacy and freedom of speech? Because that's something you have really talked about, especially
I have. There's a difference between talking about going and bombing and killing people, and there are limits to all free speech. And I think you have to be careful how you do this. And the Internet, I believe we should have an open Internet, which the ISPs, the International Service, Internet Service Providers, should not be making you pay for a faster lane or that kind of thing. This is a little different, though. This is saying that sites that are terrorist propaganda sites that we can take.
Well, I think she was also referring to sites and social media sites as well. At least that's my interpretation. And Facebook and Twitter, American companies have struggled with this. Certainly Twitter knocked down about 400,000 users, but many people say they came back in another site or under another name.
Well, that's unfortunately the nature of this technology. There's limits to what you can do. That doesn't mean you can't do the kind of things that they were doing.
All right. Let me ask you, switching gears, the president, obviously, many people were not surprised. Some were that he actually went through with his pledge during the campaign to withdraw from the Paris Global Treaty environments. What are your thoughts about that?
I thought it was a stupid and disastrous mistake. Climate change is an existential threat to us. I was in Paris. 195 countries signed on to this. We should be the leader. We're supposed to be the leader of the free world. We're now the leader of 3 countries. Syria, Nicaragua, and us are not in this treaty. We know that climate change is real. You know who knows this better than anybody else is the Defense Department. Defense Department issues a quadrennial review every 4 years, and they have said that this is one of the biggest threats to our national security. And if we don't address this, we are going to see hundreds of millions of climate refugees. This is going to devastate our economy. We need to lead the world. That said, states like California and Washington and Minnesota are going to continue to do this. There are some, we can't really pull out of the agreement until November 2020. So is this a disaster? It's not a good move. It's not a good move.
Well, Senator Franken, you of course have a new book out. It's called Al Franken, Giant of the Senate. We'll ask you about that and tell you about the book and ask you some questions when we come back.